The Uber didn't slow down at my street. The indicator stayed silent. The engine hummed. My house slid past the window like it didn't belong to me anymore. I looked up from my coffee cup. Still warm. I always brought him coffee, a small ritual between two men who never asked questions. "You missed the turn," I said. He didn't look at me. His hands tightened on the wheel. "No," he replied, "I didn't." We drove another block, then another. My pulse didn't spike. Grief had already hollowed me out months ago, the night my wife died in a hospital room that smelled like disinfectant and unfinished apologies. Fear needs something alive to grab onto. I didn't have much left. He finally spoke again, voice low, measured. "Your neighbor has been watching you." I let the words settle. No reaction, no questions. He glanced at me in the mirror, studying my face the way men do when they expect panic and don't get it. "Don't go home tonight," he continued. "Tomorrow I'll show you the proof." Silence stretched between us. I took a sip of coffee. "Drive," I said, and for the first time since my wife's funeral, something inside me clicked awake. Grief sharpens memory in strange ways. Suddenly, the details rearranged themselves. The neighbor who waved too slowly, the light always on in his upstairs room, the way my daughter-in-law insisted on helping after my wife died, handling paperwork, suggesting I sell the house, telling me I was too old to manage alone. She called me that same night. Her voice was loud, performative. "If you want to join Thanksgiving," she shouted over the phone, "come wash the dishes." I pictured her smirk, the audience around her, my son's silence in the background. I replied with one word, "Enjoy." She laughed and hung up. I didn't sleep. I didn't need to. The Uber driver, his name was Daniel, picked me up again the next evening. Same route, same coffee. He handed me a tablet at a red light. Photos, videos, time-stamped, my neighbor's window, my living room, my wife's old chair, and then her, my daughter-in-law, entering my house while I was at work, letting herself in with a key I never gave her. My wife had trusted her. That was the first betrayal. The second was quieter. Bank statements, power of attorney documents, a signature that wasn't mine. My shock didn't come as pain. It came as clarity. I didn't confront anyone. That's how they lose. I watched, I listened, I pulled phone records, security logs, digital backups my wife had kept without telling anyone, including me. I smiled at dinners. I thanked my daughter-in-law for her concern. I let her believe I was unraveling. Inside, I was counting. She had been siphoning money for months, convincing my son I was unstable, planning to move me into assisted living. She wanted the house, she wanted the accounts, she wanted control. So I gave her something else. I accepted a new job, remote, quiet, lucrative. I moved money she didn't know existed, accounts in my wife's name, Swiss, untouched, waiting. The neighbor, paid. The Uber driver, former investigator. I hired him the night my street disappeared behind us. Every move was clean, documented, legal. Revenge doesn't need anger, it needs patience. I invited them to dinner, neutral ground, calm lighting, no witnesses. I slid a folder across the table. My daughter-in-law opened it first, her face drained. Photos, transfers, surveillance. My son stared at the table like it had betrayed him personally. "I already knew," I said quietly, "before you finished your first lie." She tried to speak, then cried, then accused. I didn't raise my voice. "I've transferred everything," I continued. "The house, the assets, the accounts." "To where?" she whispered. I showed her my phone. A single photo, a villa, Lake Geneva, glass, stone, silence. Her phone buzzed once, then again. By morning, it rang 71 times. She came to my house screaming. The locks had been changed. Police reports were already filed. Lawyers already notified. My son already knew the truth. I didn't open the door. From the intercom, I said, "You wanted me gone." I simply agreed. Her voice cracked. Begging replaced rage. I felt nothing. I left that night. Airport, first class. Switzerland doesn't ask questions if your paperwork is perfect, and mine was. I sit on the terrace now. The lake is still. The air doesn't smell like hospitals or lies. Sometimes I think about my wife, about trust, about how quietly people decide you're already dead. My phone is silent. That's how I know I won. I didn't destroy her, I removed myself, and that, I've learned, is the most unforgivable punishment of all.